of the population knows what's going on. The true gods of this planet. The original Asiatic black man from Africa with knowledge of self. Sent here to teach y'all the 85% that you are indeed dumb, deaf, and blind. And that you're being exploited by the devilish 10%. They don't cut my wisdom, God.
The supreme wisdom lessons.
Black Dot. A sincere love to God. And who am I, y'all? Young kind of Don, now check it. In my observation, 85% of the population are ruled by a wicked 10%. I'm not debating. Watching Satan, technology and operations. Control and manage the planet with candid conversations. On social media, dumbing it down is easier. Evil is what they feeding us, scientifically reaching us. On a subconscious level, devils are greedier. Only 5% of the people live and even see the stuff. I'm triggering these fake woke niggas, not going deep enough. My duty as a civilized man is to keep teaching us. If not, I gotta deal with the chastisement creeping up. Punishing governments plus whoever don't believe in us. The maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. We was here first, I know it hurts, but do your research. Don't ever underestimate the stars with bars.
Always gotta open it up with a powerful tunes to get us grooving, get us woke up. Great people, great day, another opportunity. I want to welcome everyone to a Rich Education Podcast, episode 8. Oh my gosh, always doing my best, and I got a blessing. I got a blessing a couple of months ago to just the algorithms, I can say, brought us together. And this gentleman that's going to be with us today, when I say passionate about wealth, when I say passionate about people and families all over the world protecting themselves, understanding the importance of financial education. Once again, episode 8, unveiling the bitter truth with my great brother, Gold Liberator, Journey to Financial Awakening. Oh my gosh, my brother, can you hear me today?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes.
Oh man, what a blessing to have you on here today, sir. I mean, looking sharp, looking just like what you represent, which is truth, looking just like what you represent as well, Gold Liberated, which is God's money. And I'm just so excited. And I mean, you know, like I stated before the opening, how the algorithms really just brought us together, because when I saw the content that you were bringing to the world, and I just feel, in my humble opinion, Brother Gold, is that this is the most valuable in the space of finance right now in the present economy, that's so important for the middle class and even the poor, because anyone can change their life based on their will. But when I saw you, I just had to jump into your DM. I had to start commenting, and you gave me that opportunity, dear brother, to connect with you, man. And please introduce to the world, introduce to the community who you are.
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you so much. I completely agree with you. We share so many things in common. And likewise, when I saw your page, I saw your post, and it's always a positive thing to see that so many people on the net share the same interest and are open-minded. I think that's the most important thing, to be open-minded, to ask open questions, right? To gather knowledge, because everyone knows knowledge is power, and the more knowledge you have, the more tools you gather to channel and to discover and to go against the world, really. And I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was maybe 27 or 28 years old.
Okay.
And I started asking myself questions. So the older you get, the more wise you get in general. It's not the same for everyone, but luckily for me, myself, I started asking myself questions. I used to work as a financial advisor for a major financial institution, and I learned so many things working for that specific financial institution that I couldn't learn in any universities, or I did a first semester as a student in university in finance. And I didn't learn as much as I had the chance to learn as a financial advisor working for that financial institution. And I learned quickly that the financial system, not only in North America, in the US or in Canada, but also in the world in general, is not quite the thing that used to be or what I've been thought it was.
Yes, sir.
And I did a simple research, right? I went on Google and I simply typed in, what is money, right? And everyone thinks that money is a simple dollar bill that can be used for a transaction or for a purchase. And amongst the very first topics that were shared on the page was this very famous book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and written by the great Robert Kiyosaki himself.
Absolutely.
And to be really honest with you, I knew who Robert Kiyosaki was, but I didn't really grasp his message. So, by the way, if you want to do yourself a favor, this book cost only $10.
That's right. That's right.
And I think the best way to really spend a $10 bill is to purchase this book. You know, I don't know the author personally, but I learned so many things reading this book.
Yes,
and
sir.
A lot of things really struck me when I read the book. And one of the things he said on the book was, consumers will always be poor. And it really hit me because working at this financial institution for a few years, 99% of the customers we had were consumers.
Yes, sir.
Either through debts, using credit cards, loan, either individual or, either for their personal use or for their businesses. But 99% of the things that we're doing on a daily basis is consume, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can either consume one or two things. You can either get yourself into debt or purchase assets. And in this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, explained the difference between a liability and an asset.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And when I learned that our financial system was not what I thought it is or it was, I learned that gold, which is this tiny piece of metal here,
yes, sir,
is actually real money.
And you know, and I want to step in because you said some key things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Brother Gold. You said some key things about knowledge being power, and it is. And I want to bring in together that beautiful book that you, the statement, and then the beautiful book that you just shared with us, because I've met people who have had and have that amazing book. I mean, really, I remember Robert saying that he's not the best writing author, but he's the best-selling author. And I've met people that's read that book, and I would ask them this simple question, Brother Gold. Oh, wow. So what did you do with the information that you used? He said, So knowledge is power when you implement it. So a lot of people have gotten that book, but they haven't implemented it. And one of the simplest ways to building wealth is what you just shared with us. And I know you're going to go deep into it. I have a question, though. You mentioned the awakening to the flaws in our financial system and education. Could you elaborate on the specific events or a realization that led you to this realization?
Absolutely. So I used to work as a financial advisor, like I said.
Yes, sir.
And one day I thought to myself, is that it? Will I keep working until the age of 50 or 60 years old, chasing this paper money and paying bills until I get old? I think life is more than just that.
Absolutely, sir.
And for me, that's what started pretty much everything. And especially what happened during the past 3 years with the lockdowns and the craziness. It was really a waking call for myself. And you can't be free if you are not financially literate. You can't be free. You can't build you can't protect yourself and your loved one if your finances are not set the right way.
Yes, sir.
So everything starts with finance. And protecting your finance is the most important thing. It's crucial. If you want to build yourself a safe place, it needs to be done through finance. And the very least that you can do is be financially independent and know what you're doing with your money.
Absolutely.
You mentioned that it's great to have all this knowledge, but it's worthless if you're not taking actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother Gold. Yes.
And it's absolutely true. I share this knowledge, what I'm sharing with you right now, with the viewers at home. And if you are not taking the appropriate steps, then this knowledge will just go to waste. And sometimes I share some memes, other posts are more important or more up to date, but I'm trying to reach the other person to learn about money, to learn that the dollar bills that you're saving in your checking account or in your 401k is actually losing value on a day-to-day basis.
And you brought up something. You used the key word, Gord, not to cut you, but you're bringing so much fire to the platform. And when people hear that, because I've asked that question, and it's not a trick question, how are you protecting your money? You use that word. Can you please give to the community and the viewers, what do you mean by protecting? When people think, well, I have life insurance, and life insurance is good. I'll never forget, because I had the blessing of sitting in front of Robert Kiyosaki at an event years ago in Miami, so I've sat and watched him teach. And he, once upon a time in his old Rich Dad podcast, stated that, well, I don't have life insurance. And I was like, well, why? He said, I'm not going to give $300 some dollars a month away. I have assets. So we're not saying anything's wrong with life insurance. Nothing's wrong with that, because if you don't have the assets to protect yourself, then you better have some life insurance. But you use that word, protect your money. Please go in depth about that. What protects your money?
Absolutely. So I like to keep it simple, right? And I think the easier I can keep it, the more relevant the message will get. So the purchasing power of the general consumer that we are, since the year 2000, lost 59% of its purchasing power. So let's say, for example, you take a $100 bill. You can't buy the same thing 20 years ago or even 10 years ago compared to today.
Facts.
So if you take a $100 bill since 2000 until today, 2023, this $100 bill lost 59% of its purchasing power, which is seriously concerning. And I have a graph here to show you.
Please.
Here, I hope the camera can pick it up. It goes downward.
You see it clear? Yes, sir. If you can move it over to my right a little bit, then maybe the viewers can see it complete. Yeah. And bring it down. Yes. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes.
So this graph, I keep it for myself as a reminder that I not only need to take action yesterday or today, but how do you take action, right? How do you protect your finance? If you're not buying insurance, you can go with gold and silver. And for an example, I have a silver coin here.
Is that MS70?
This one is graded PR70. It's a reverse proof silver coin. It's a Libertad coin.
Yes,
if
sir.
you feel really tough and confident, you can go with semi-numismatic coins. But keep in mind that silver and gold are real money. So prior to 1971, all right, we used to have what we call the gold standard.
Correct.
Our money was valuable because of gold.
Yes, sir.
And prior to 1971, we also had silver coins. Now, you can't carry on your personal self hundreds of coins. It's going to be too heavy. So we used to have silver certificates, right? That
Yes,
you
sir.
can redeem at any given time, right? And basically sell your fiat for real money, which is gold and silver. And in the beginning, I showed this small gold coin.
Is that a
It's
Cougar
a-
lamp?
This is a 1 ounce gold kangaroo.
Okay, yes. Beautiful. Yes, sir.
So it's a really small coin, as you can see. It's not even big. It's 1 ounce, but you can save a lot of money. This one today
Absolutely.
is worth just over $1,900 US.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful.
So if you take a look at a gold graph, if you compare it to, for example, the S&P 500, it's pretty similar in terms of performance.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people are saying gold is boring, it doesn't do anything, but those same people like to invest thousands into the S&P 500s.
Yes, sir.
When in reality, it performs the same as gold, if not slightly lower than that.
Mm.
So precious metal is the easiest way for any beginner to protect their asset.
Mm.
Uh,
Good teachings. Good teachings.
so today, a 1 ounce silver coin is worth $30, and anybody can afford $30.
Anyone? Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Start small and see how things are going for yourself.
That's right.
And Robert Kiyosaki said it many times. You don't need to be worth thousands of dollars to start investing.
That's
Start
right.
small. And
Start small, sir.
he said it. The most important asset is your mind.
That's it.
And
So much great knowledge there, Brother Gold. And well, to be honest with you, this particular podcast, because it's my passion, you could go for hours. But what I want to do, and we're going to come back, I want to take a quick infomercial break. We're going to be 30 seconds. I want to allow people to just take a break and check out the commercial. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, always doing my best to bring value. And what better value can we have today of understanding how to protect yourself, especially in a climate like we're here in today, not just in North America, but globally. So unveiling the bitter truth with my dear brother, Gold Liberated, the journey to financial awakening. Will be right back. Want to welcome everyone back to a Rich Education podcast with my great brother, Gold Liberated. Unveiling the Bitter Truth, episode 8, Financial Awakening. Oh my God, so much information here. And this is the information literally. We're throwing a life jacket at you today because with all due respect, many people are not financially educated. And it's a thing that I know my brother has been seeing me constantly dripping on the masses globally about the destruction that the educational system is putting upon the people because there's zero financial literacy unless you have that type of teacher that's just going to break the rules and feed the knowledge to the people. But you mentioned, because Gold Liberated, I've never met a financial advisor speaking like yourself. The book that majority of financial advisors study doesn't talk about gold. It's all about products that are tied to the US dollar. So you highlighted the importance of precious metal assets. How did this understanding influence your decision to create a YouTube channel and an Instagram page? And what message do you aim to convey through these platforms?
I love this question, and the answer is very simple. It's called freedom. Freedom for me is the most important thing.
Yes, sir.
And if your finances are not right, if your finances are not set right, you are not free. It's that simple. Unfortunately, the education system is against the common men and women working on a day-to-day basis to provide for their children. And it goes much deeper than that. And I don't think we have enough time to cover it. We can go so deep.
And you know what? We need to go deep. And if it takes us into that situation, but the people need to know, they need to hear this information because it goes very deep. And it begins with the educational system because this is where we all go into unless we're in the top 1% who don't send their children to the public, with all due respect to the masses, to anyone hearing this fool system, because that's what it's making the people. Not saying you're a fool, but it's taking out the most important things that the masses need to know, which is our health, where we see people, two things they're suffering from. I'm sick and I'm broke. So most definitely lead us into a way and give us a snippet of the deepness of what's taking place here globally to that system, brother, that's minusing what we need to hear about what you're sharing.
Absolutely. I want to share a quick story with you. And I think you will find it interesting. So, as I said, I work for a major financial institution. And this man came in and asked for a financial fee to be removed, basically to be reimbursed. I think it was slightly over $50 that the bank charged on his account because he was slightly late on his credit card payment. And what I heard is that we make no exception. If you are late on your credit card payment, then the interest fee will apply, and you deal with it. And this guy said, well, that's not how it works for me. And the bank always used to reimburse the fee. So I went to speak with the manager, and what she told me was really interesting. She said, this customer is worth millions of dollars, and we don't want to lose him. So we simply reimburse the fee because we want to keep him as a customer. So what I did is I simply told the customer, well, it won't be an issue. The fees are removed, and that's pretty much it. But that's not how we treat 99% of people.
Right.
And unfortunately, 99% of people literally struggle not only to pay their rent, but to pay their food, to pay basic expenses.
Yes, sir.
And so what I learned is that this system is not sustainable through the debt, through the trillions that are printed annually. And it's a matter of time before we see a huge shift in our financial system. And I think that we will witness this shift. And I think that we are witnessing this shift right now at this very moment. And not only through the war going on in Ukraine, but right now, the feds are introducing the central bank digital currency.
Yes, sir.
Which is really into their own favor. I don't think it will favor any of us, to be honest.
Nope, not at all.
And I mentioned freedom a few minutes ago. And this introduction of the CBDC is a huge threat to our freedom in so many ways. And the very least is to protect your assets. Start with that. Protect your freedom. Protect your assets. This is the message that I share on a daily basis with my close ones, with my family, with my friends, and with people on YouTube and on Instagram. If one is curious and is open-minded to learn how to protect its freedom and to learn what money is truly, then read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Again, I have literally zero affiliation with Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes, sir.
I just found that this book is really well written, and that's the message that I'm sharing on a daily basis. And
Sure.
That's pretty much it. I like to keep it simple.
Absolutely, man, and that's great for the people to hear. And I'm hoping that a seed is planted. And when I say that school system has really damaged, and it's not, once again, to put anyone down, but when you understand science, you understand what it takes for a child to go into a system, and through years of downloading of information consistently, it's just like a child coming up in an environment that maybe they see the parents smoking, maybe they see the parents doing certain things. Maybe that child, there's a good chance that child will go in that direction. So it's the same thing with adults. Years of downloading of information that's minus financial literacy. So we have to break from the traditional box. And you're surely giving information that's going to get a person to that next level to protect themselves and their family. Brother, go liberated. Connecting with like-minded individuals who understand the importance of precious metals is crucial. According to your story, can you share an experience where this connection significantly impacted your perspective or decisions regarding financial choices?
Absolutely. So throughout my early 20s, I thought that money actually was a simple dollar bill. And it took me quite a few years to understand, to grasp that everything that I been taught and everything that I supposedly learned at school is actually a lie. It's that simple.
Wow.
And it's a bitter truth, really. And I was confused. I was really confused because when you hear a simple message, the same message years and years and years, and then one day you wake up and you discover that, wait a minute, that's not quite right.
Yes, sir.
Things are not adding up. So it didn't happen overnight.
Correct.
It took me quite a few years to really put two and two together and understand that while I learned in school and even during my first semester in university in finance is really not right.
Yes, sir.
So you're right. The educational system is rigged. Let's put it this way. It's rigged. We all know that in school, you are being taught a certain message, a certain way, because once you get your degree, what you become is a worker. Now, what a worker do? You pay taxes. That's all you do. So
True.
through questions, through asking open questions, I got my answers, and they are hard to believe. They are hard to accept, but that's what it takes to awake you. And the more you dig in, the more you discover that not only the financial system, but the educational system as well is rigged against the common men and women.
Absolutely.
And it's not done by accident. This is done on purpose through centuries. There is a saying that goes, an educated slave is dangerous. Now, slaves back in the days couldn't read. So if they couldn't read, they were not able to ask questions. So do as you're told and keep working. And at the end of the day, you'll get your bread.
Absolutely.
So it's literally the same thing today. Do as you're told. Don't ask questions. And at the end of the day, you will get paid. And the government will take it cuts the taxes that will be taken from your salary, either 30, 40, or 50% of your wages are taxed. So it didn't change that much. We are still slaves. It's just that we are not the slaves that we used to be centuries ago. It's just through the financial system that is literally imposed on us. That's how we are getting treated on a daily basis. And like I said in the beginning, for me, that's not life. That's not it. There is more to life than just doing your 9 to 5, paying bills, getting taxed until you're 50 or 60 years old. You're old. You can't enjoy your wealth as you're supposed to enjoy it. So really, for me, it's a fight against, I won't say the system, but it's a fight through seeking the truth, gathering knowledge. And like I said in the beginning, knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more powerful you are.
Absolutely, man. And I'll incorporate, well, back then, we're talking 400 plus years ago, the slaves really couldn't speak English. Not really. They didn't speak English. I mean, we came from the east to the west, and you were basically killed if you read anything. So, like you stated, knowledge is power, but we couldn't even understand the English language talking about in the year 1555 and between that time. So you're bringing so much fire, so much truth. And you mentioned the fight that you're up against, and it is a fight because I give it to you that you are a soldier. You're speaking information that the masses, some of them, because you can bring the knowledge. And one of my first guests on the show said, you could lead a horse to the water, but if they're not thirsty, you can't make them drink it. So this is what we're doing. We're bringing you the water. But if you're thirsty for information, you're thirsty to protect your family, Go Liberated is bringing the knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a 30-second infomercial break. Once again, I'm super excited for this episode, unveiling the bitter truth, Go Liberated Journey to Financial Awakening. Episode 8 will be right. In the economy that we're living in, ladies and gentlemen, it's super important to get financial literacy. And this is what a Rich Education podcast and a Rich Education in general is all about. We want you to be educated. We want you to understand that the economy that we're living in today is no longer our granddaddy's economy or the Brady Bunch economy. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about protection. It's all about preservation. And it's all about thriving and being able to withstand all of the ramifications that are upon us in this new economy, and the window is small. So if you're the person who wants to win, if you're the person who wants to fight inflation, if you're the person who wants to preserve what they've been working hard for so many years, I want you to text GSB to 202-770-1668 and also visit www.aricheducation.com for more information. It's time for you to win. It's time for you to thrive, and it's time for you to do more than survive, because we're living in a new economy, and the number one economy is the economy in your home. I want to welcome everyone back to a Rich Education podcast, episode 8, unveiling the bitter truth. My brother, Go Liberated, Journey to Financial Awakening. My great brother bringing so much fire, so much information that can really save the lives of families all over the world. And we see the currency war that's taking place all over the world. So we have examples of what you're speaking on right now. And one of my mentors, I did actually Robert Kiyosaki, because I study him. You and I both, we share his information, but I never forget him stating once before that don't ignore what's happening in other countries, because it's going to come home and knock on your door. Taking action is a recurring theme in your journey. And what actionable advice would you give to someone starting their journey into understanding the true nature of money and finance?
That's a really good question. And unfortunately, not everyone has the ability to ask open questions. They don't have the critical thinking required to really settle themselves and be empowered by what is available around them. So it all comes down, in my personal opinion, to critical thinking, right? If I tell you that the sky is green, would you accept it? No. The answer is no.
No, sir.
The sky is not green.
That's
But
right.
unfortunately, if you keep repeating this lie enough, millions of people will start believing that the sky is green. And
Yes, sir.
this message will be shared with their children and on until everyone accepts the fact that the sky is green.
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have critical thinking, you can't question such hilarious fact that the sky is green. So it all comes down to asking questions.
Yes, sir.
Ask question. It's that simple. And like I said, through my role as a financial advisor, I saw a lot of things that were not quite right. And I couldn't ask the same question that I'm asking right now, because otherwise you will get fired or they will call you crazy because it's not appropriate for the role. It's not a good image for the corporation. Not considered professional towards the customers, right? So I kept all that for myself, right? And I decided, you know what? Let me help others through the net by sharing this message. And the first thing is to ask yourself a question. Be open-minded. You know, in this book, again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Keep showing it.
I don't remember exactly which chapter, but Robert Kiyosaki wrote, if you are still reading this book, that means you are interested.
Mm.
And I think it was pretty much almost towards the end of the book where he said, if you are still here, if you are still present reading this book, then you might have what it takes to be financially free. And at the end of the book, he said, now that you have the knowledge necessary, you have one thing that remains, and it's to take action. Now, like I said, start small. Go with a 1 ounce silver coin. It's $30.
Good teaching. Yes, sir.
Learn from it. And slowly but surely, you will realize that you are stepping away from the US dollar. Because, like I showed in this graph in the beginning, the US dollar is losing its purchasing power on a daily basis. And the more you step away from not only the US dollar, but any fiat currencies, you will learn to enjoy commodities such as gold and silver. And we can even touch base on cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin,
Correct.
and so many other assets that are worth mentioning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great teaching for us, Brother Gold Liberate. Like I mentioned, we could really be on here for hours. And in my humble opinion, I've had a blessing to have some amazing guests on, but we didn't go in depth. Guests who are building wealth in gold and silver, but this conversation here has the umbrella, like they said, like Lynette Zane, which I'm sure you're familiar with Lynette Zane. Oh my gosh, one of the most powerful women in the space of precious metals, her own company. She says protection is made of metal. So this conversation that we had today is all about protecting the families of people all over the world. And my dear brother, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us. Financial advisor, I mean, what more do you need? I'll never forget as I close us out today, I'll never forget Robert Kiyosaki saying, when you're talking to these financial advisors, you have different types of financial advisors. I mean, one for the poor, middle class, and one for the rich. The conversation is different. We may talk about diversification, but diversification shouldn't be a well-diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs.
That's right.
All that's tied to the dollar. Now, there's nothing wrong with an IRA that's maybe physically backed by gold individual, but if it's not, it's tied to that graph that you showed us. And why would I want my life tied to a graph of something that's going down? Brother, you've been a blessing to the community today. Anything you want to close us out with, you've given us all we need to know to take action. And I got to say one more thing, because I'm recording all of the nuggets that you've been dropping. The one thing on your journey you stated, dear brother, you said that you asked questions. And the first sign of intelligence is to ask questions. And that's why you're so intelligent. Take us out today, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So like I said, be open-minded. That's the most important thing, right? So just to do a quick recap, like you said, we can go on and on for hours, but I don't think we have enough time for that. Be open-minded. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. We all start somewhere, right? And don't be intimidated by what you hear on the net or for what people are saying. Protect yourself, and the most important thing to protect, again, is your finance. Go with precious metals. They are the easiest starts, and then go from there.
Thank you so much for your time again, Brother Gold Liberated. And I will have all of your information for people to connect with you, follow your Instagram page, follow your YouTube page, and any other information that you will have for the masses, for people to connect with you and learn more. Thank you again, dear brother, for your time. I'm looking forward to having you back, because things are moving fast in our economy, and we want to help the masses as much as we can.
Thank you for having me. God bless.
Absolutely. So you enjoy your day, sir. Thank you. What a great show it's been. Once again, episode 8 with our great brother, unveiling the bitter truth. Go Libertad, the journey to financial awakening. And that's an awakening. Most people, as I had that conversation, they don't understand what is protecting their money. Because I've reached out to people and I've said, so what are you doing to protect your money? Well, you don't have to talk to my financial advisor, with all due respect. Because we have a financial advisor plugging in with us today. But many of them, with all due respect, don't speak like Gold Libertad. They don't speak like him. Okay? It's all about selling a product. It's all about the market is doing good. It's going to go back up. Yeah, but what goes up must goes down. And especially in a climate like we're in today, where the central bankers, the government, the United States of America, not teaching that's who runs the school system, correct? So why wouldn't you call them states if they're not teaching you this value that our dear brother brought us today? They're printing so much cash, and just within the last 60 days, we're talking about over $300 billion printed, and we're getting close. This is what's being talked about, maybe a government shutdown. So with that being said, great people, I hope you got value out of this, and I hope you're ready to take action. That book that our dear brother shared with you, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, make sure you've seen the websites from the infomercial, my website. Go there, download it for free, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and get your read on today. So with that being said, as always, remember, life is what you make it based on the information that you have received and the information that you have rejected. Until next time, Demi Sanya tuning out a Rich Education podcast. You all stay safe and enjoy your day.
Yeah, I'm kind of down, yeah. Icon music, come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Hey yo, stop the killing black man with the quickness. You already did and you died from a sickness. But a sickness can't be cured with the right stuff, and there ain't no stuff that's quite like us. We got the medicine Muhammad gave us, the only thing on the earth that can save us. So bring us back to life from the dead and replace the chains in our brains with a new head full of truth to make falsehood disperse and run away from the God of the universe. Follow the FOI when you know why. The truth for fruit in suits and a bow tie. Have the cure for when we deliver it. The Uncle Toms and the so-called niggas get jealous and tell us y'all must be crazy. Nobody but Jesus Christ could save me.
No, it's the truth. The minute you listen, I'm talking to you. It's the supreme wisdom. No, it's the truth.
If the black man ain't God, there is none. Come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Visit Muhammad's mosque if you're lost in a hell of a cause, not a so-called Holocaust, and come and get some supreme wisdom. God is a black man and there is none who could dispute me. Whenever I drop it, it came from his was more than a prophet, sent by God with the last battle cry. Chapter 4, 5th verse in the book of Malachi. Told you the messenger was coming to save you from the hell the goddamn white man gave you. The wicked deceiver deceived the believers, robbed the whole world, called him a leader. Stole my history, and it gets to me. I told the slaves that God was a mystery. I gotta go out and do the work I need to do. My sole purpose in life is to raise you, then deliver you to the Lamb of God, who came in the person of Master Farad. Muhammad got the devil on the run, reminding us 6,000 years are here and the time is up. The final call is loud like a trumpet, telling you what to do or you done with. You goddamn graft, the devil made to rebel and be a rebel back when y'all cool played with metal.
You know it's the truth. The minute you listen, I'm talking to you. It's the supreme wisdom.
Come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Yaku said, come let us make man to cause bloodshed and mischief in the land. Murdered and slayed us, straight up played us. The devil he raped us, then they gave us Christianity, the white man's fantasy. You call it the religion of God, but how can it be? Jesus Christ could have never been a Christian, and if he was, what was Moses' religion? Come on, Reverend Porkchop, please stop and tell the truth, cause the youth and hip-hop are tired of you and the so-called chosen Jew. The wicked 10% are robbing the multitudes, 85% are blind, deaf, and dumb, but the 5% know where you came from. You are of your father, the devil go dead in the Bible and live on another level.
You know it's the truth. The minute you listen, I'm talking to you. It's the supreme
Come
wisdom.
and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Come and get some supreme wisdom. If the black man ain't God, there is none. Listen to the words that I put in your ear. Only heaven and hell that you see will be right here, not up in the sky and defined by after you die. Whoever told you a lie. You need something sound on the ground while you're still around. Here is supreme wisdom for the lost found. Nation of Islam in the West, living in the hills in the wilderness of North America, the brand new Babylon. Looks to me like a job for Farrakhan. F-A-R-R-A-K-H-A-N. Don't make me have to say it again. We at the end of the white man's time. The white man's rule, the white man's mind, the white man's money, the white man's crime. In fact, the whole world of the white man's time.
You know it's the truth.